Hello, YouTube. AppleSoldier asked a question, and Tiny wants to answer it too. So, okay. Let's listen to the babbling AppleSoldier.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is the day of the iPad pre-order frenzy. And this is just a quick video to ask how many of my subscribers or followers of my videos that's watching this one have pre-ordered their iPad. Do you have plans to pre-order it? Have you pre-ordered it? Are you going to wait and see one in the Apple Store before you pre-order? Are you going to wait till it arrives before you get one?
Again, I feel inclined to answer.
No!
No! Do not want it, do not need it.
I'm not saying it's a bad product, I just don't want it.
Well, actually, I would go so far as to say it's a bad product, because honestly, I'm planning to buy a tablet this year,
Yeah.
but it's not the iPad. The one I want to buy is this thing.
Okay.
I took a look at this Atom thing.
Mm-hmm.
That well, I could drop a name, but I'm not gonna do that, because unlike Eric, I don't want to claim higher echelon people that I don't know at all happen to agree with my opinion just because they talked about a similar thing.
Uh-huh.
But let me do a side-by-side comparison. iPad, 9.7 inch, 1024 by 768.
Okay.
This thing, 10 inch. It's a iScreen, but it's capable of doing 1080.
Okay. Is that better in that regard? But
Yeah.
it'll probably come back and
Yeah,
say,
it's not
it'll
the
be
native isn't. It's like the native screen is 1024 by 600, but it has an HDMI out, so it can do full 1080. Thanks.
Okay.
The iPhone, it's the iPhone OS. The other one has Android, Ubuntu, and Chromium.
Okay.
There's no hard confirms yet on Ubuntu or Chromium, but if there's an Ubuntu version, my guess is I can flash it to other Linux distros too.
Yeah.
Where it really starts to move leaps and bounds ahead of the stupid iPad is the iPad has that A4 processor that Apple made.
Okay.
Okay, this thing has an NVIDIA Tegra 2 processor. So to put that in perspective, the iPad is running a single-core gigahertz processor made by Apple.
Yeah.
This thing is a dual-core 1 gigahertz processor.
Okay.
So, and then we get the next thing. Not only is it going to have capable of doing multitasking, but actually have a CPU to back it up. The iPad has no video out or anything built into it. It has the ability to have a VGA connection if you buy their dock. The thing you stick it in. But if you don't buy that, you can't do anything.
Yeah, maybe. There is a thing for the iPhone. I don't know if it'll work for that. So you can do the audio video, I would think.
Yeah, but it's still an extra thing you have to buy.
Yeah, it's an extra dock for it.
Okay, on this thing, they've built in an HDMI port. And, okay, this one says 3 USB ports, but the mock-ups I've seen of it, some had 2, some had 3. But no matter what, it's going to have at least 2 USB ports.
Okay.
So it's, it's already a standalone device. None of this other stuff. Now, granted, it doesn't have the most sophisticated camera. It has a little 3 megapixel camera.
Yeah.
Based on what they have now. It's actually crappier than the phone you just got. But considering the iPad has none. Oh yeah, for those of you who don't know, Tiny has seen the light. To put this in perspective, Tiny went and bought a backflip, which I actually think is a horrible phone because it's stuck on Android 1.5, so it doesn't have a lot of features.
Yeah.
But even with it being obsolete Android 1.5, what's your honest assessment of that thing compared to your iPhone?
I've experienced the real world. I'm like, oh yeah, it actually does this. It does what it's told to do.
Yeah, no, for those of you who don't know, for like the last week, since Tiny got that thing, he's just been having these little moments of, what the hell, I can do this? Because he just assumed you couldn't do it, because he assumed it was an iPhone world.
Yeah.
This is how boxed the Apple experience is. The battery life is what really kills this thing. The iPad's up to 10 continuous use, up to a month of standby.
Mm-hmm.
This thing is up to 160 hours of use.
Okay.
16 hours if you have the backlight on.
Yeah.
The backlight's so you can use it out in the sunlight and other stuff and get the full color and everything. But, I mean, you could go a monochrome display and get 160 hours.
Yeah.
Which means turn it into an e-reader and you get 160 hours easy. Both, are comparable, Wi-Fi 3G, yada yada, so forth. This one's a whole 0.2 pounds heavier. This one has multitasking, iPad doesn't. This one I can't get a hard confirm on, but it's supposed to be. I'm a little surprised because the device running Android, but it's also supposed to have Flash.
Okay.
And for all of this, it has SD cards, so you can upgrade, the amount of storage for it as you see fit, not I bought one device and I'm just stuck with whatever the heck I can afford. And it's in the same price range, $327 to $800. So it's going to cost about the same as the iPad.
Yeah.
So, let's see all the points Emeek talks about on the babbling iPad.
Are you going to wait for the next gen to arrive? If you do get one, is it going to be the 16, 32, 64, or Wi-Fi? I myself got the 32 gig Wi-Fi version. Okay. I bought the case with it. I didn't get the keyboard because I can get that in the future anytime. I recommend, if you're tight on funds, to always go for more storage over accessories. If you add the case and the keyboard, that's over $100, and that could go from 16 to 32, or maybe from 32 to 64. You can always get the keyboard. You can't upgrade storage.
My thing with the keyboard. Why the hell would you need a keyboard for it?
Well, I mean, it has the on-screen keyboard. I don't know on that. I honestly think that's just one more goddamn thing to sell you. My question is, why is the memory built in? So it's like, you deliberately... For those of you who don't know, Tiny has had 3 memory cards this week.
Well, they gave me one when I bought the thing, and it wasn't big enough, so I went and bought a big
He went and bought another one. So it's like, see, if he bought an iPhone, well, he was stupid enough to buy an iPhone once upon a time, but on your iPhone, it's like, what do you have to do? Go buy a whole nother phone?
Yeah, if you want more storage on it.
See, I like the idea of being able to just, swap.
Yeah, and I can actually take the battery out on it, and if I had another battery, replace it. I don't have one yet. I don't know if I really need one.
Yeah, I don't know on that.
So I got the 32 gig version. If it turns out to be as great as I think it's going to be, I'll give that to my wife, and I'll order the 64 gig Wi-Fi version, or 3G version. For now, we're going to stick with the 32 gig Wi-Fi because that's enough to put all my music on it, all my apps, a few movies, and to really play with it and see what it's going to be like. I ordered mine. It ended up being $700, I think, for the iPad and the case, the 32 gig version. Of course, the 16 gig version was a lot cheaper. But, 16 gig you can get by with and make do with, no problem. But I wanted to...
Okay, I gotta go on that, because that's just... And we're coming up on time here, but you know what?
Yeah.
I bet when I buy my Atom tablet in June or July, I bet you I will get away for less than the about $700 he spent, and I'll have more device. I bet you.
Probably.
Anyways, peace out all. Returning in part 2 to finish. Oh, our poor little Emeek.